There are cricket shows in this world which talk about things other than Virat Kohli. It's been 17 minutes and we haven't even mentioned a man who's coming back to play at what is his den. He's RCB's very own golden boy Virat Kohli, who is about 12 runs away, I think, from 12,000, 6 runs away in fact, from 12,000 T20 runs. Everything that can be said has been said about him. But in that last game, Rohan, we saw him score 29 gorgeous runs off of 16 deliveries. It was perhaps what one might call an Instagram reel version of Kohli. Chota packet, bada dhamaka, if you like.
A bit like you. Hey, because you're big dhamaka, brother.
No.
You're big dhamaka.
For now, Kohli.
I've been out with you. Have you ever had a night out with Manish?
What you saying?
He is.
He took me out to a fancy place.
He is the biggest dhamaka you can experience.
My family is watching, Rohan, so let's focus on Kohli for now.
So yeah, look, that innings that we saw from Virat, again, I think maybe the selectors, maybe the team management, maybe he himself.
Yeah.
Players of that ability, that sort of mindset, know what they have to do.
Yeah.
How they need to sort of switch gears, how they need to switch templates. Joy spoke about the fact that maybe Afghanistan are struggling to go from one format to the other.
Yeah.
The great players never have that format. You wake him up tomorrow and tell him to play test cricket, he'll be out there grinding.
Yeah.
You tell him to play one-day cricket, the day after a test match, he'll know exactly how to sort of switch.
Yeah.
So for him also to switch from his what has been his style of batting throughout T20 to suddenly go be a little bit more aggressive, honestly, for someone of his ability, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
And he showed that in the last T20 International.
Yes, also he's looking a lot more relaxed on Instagram. Otherwise, we see him traveling at airports. He's happy to wait for selfies with fans. A happy Kohli is also a dangerous Kohli for bowlers across the planet.
Exactly. Look, he's been through perhaps one of the most difficult slumps in international cricket.
Yeah.
4 years he didn't get 3 years he didn't get a century.
Yeah.
And that's a huge period for somebody with 70 centuries, odd centuries before that.
Yeah.
He's come back from that. He's given up the captaincy of his team, of his IPL franchise. He's given up international captaincy. He's no longer bothered about it. So it's all about just him going, playing his game. He has no other responsibility, he has no other worries.
Yeah.
I think that's where he's at. He's at a very good space. And you're right, he's very dangerous here because all he's worried about is going there and having a good time and playing well for India, winning tournaments for India, winning World Cups for India. That's all he's worried about.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because there's a time for intensity, and the way he drove himself over the last 6, 7, 8 years to take India where it is, not just as an ODI team, but people look at the ODI and say, didn't win a World Cup.
Yeah.
The kind of things India has done in test match cricket in the last 10 years, it's probably the best test matches we have ever played in our life, the best we have played test match cricket in our lives.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that you have to look at it. So he's a free man now, and beware of a free man. He's a free radical, as they say in chemistry. Beware of a free radical.
We've seen his exploits in test cricket. He is clearly the best ever chaser in ODI cricket, Rohan. But is this format one that perhaps deep down pinches him? I know the game is in Bangalore, so I suppose RCB fans will not want me to remind him that there is no IPL trophy. He hasn't won a T20 World Cup. Is this format one that maybe pinches him deep down, and is that the reason he wants to be on that plane to New York?
When you say, is this a format that pinches him, do you mean in terms of his batting ability?
Yeah.
No, in terms of having won something big.
He's got lots of numbers. I have one number for you, 973.
Yeah.
No, in terms of having
400s, that's
won something big. Because it's a team sport.
Yeah. So in the sense, like RCB haven't won an IPL.
Yeah.
And he's
being
not been
a part of a winning team, because he's always been a team man, right?
Look, I think that holds true not just for him, but for any player.
Yeah.
Ask me, my biggest regret in cricket is that I haven't won the Ranji Trophy.
Yeah.
I've got to the finals twice. I've got to the semi-finals on a couple of occasions, and my biggest regret is not having won the Ranji Trophy. So any player who's playing a team sport, their biggest regret will not be winning the big trophy.
Yeah.
I don't think about 100 I've missed as much as I think about the opportunities that we had as a team, Bengal had in winning the Ranji Trophy. So I think, yes, it's something, I won't say a regret, but it's something that maybe at the back of his mind thinking, I need to win a trophy. I've done everything else that I can in this game.
Yeah.
That can be expected of me. So winning a T20 trophy would be great. But look, in terms of his batting, in T20 cricket, and I've said this before, he's lucky enough to have started, not formative years, but he was still young enough when T20 came about.
Correct.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
That he could, with his ability, with his genius-like ability, he could make that transition quickly.
Yeah.
It's an era where you're born in that determines whether, which format player you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sachin Tendulkar, what a player in Test cricket and ODI cricket.
Yeah.
Because that was, T20 cricket came when Sachin was towards, the middle and latter half of his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was in a way set in his ways of how to sort of bat and even then Sachin's got a T20 100 for Mumbai Indians.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Sachin would have been a phenomenal T20 player if he was born in this era with the natural ability that he has. I firmly believe that my dad would have been a phenomenal ODI player along with Test cricket if he was born maybe 15 years later.
Yeah.
Because these players, there are certain players who are right at the top, have that genius-like ability to switch. We spoke about Virat being able to switch from format to format. It's how you learn the basics at a certain age, in those formative years. What you're taught, what your mindset is, gets a little difficult later on.
Yeah.
Again, if I may so, my dad's strike rate in ODIs is about 65, which for that generation are very good numbers.
Yeah.
His second last ODI was 103 in 1999.
Yeah, so even what I'm trying to say is that even he managed to sort of, switch it around from, say the 80s or whatever, because these kind of players have that ability.